Hey y'all, welcome to Eurocentric TV, and as you see by the title, we're going to be talking about locks or dreads or dreadlocks. What do you like for your tresses to be called? Or does it even matter? Well, I'm going to tell you what I think and what I feel now based on some research I've done. So if you want to know like I want to know, let's get into the video. Alright, so I really wanted to do this video because there has been constant debate on whether to call your hair, those who have locked hair, whether you call them locks, dreads, or dreadlocks. Alright, so I really don't know where I left off. So there's been a constant debate regarding calling your hair locks, dreads, or dreadlocks, what not to call it. Should I call it this? Should I not? And I can say that from my experience prior to getting locks, I always call them dreads. Like where I grew up, we call them dreads. Oh, you got dread, you a dreadhead, dread. So I never thought about it. So once I started locking my hair, I was in these groups on Facebook and different things like that. That show you different hairstyles and stuff like that, y'all know. So that's when I start learning and start hearing about people saying, oh, I don't call my hair dreads or dreadlocks because ain't nothing dreadful about my hair. And I was corrected a few times in person because I found myself around people that had locks in their hair, dreads in their hair, and things like that. And they was like, it's nothing dreadful about my hair. The masters and overseers used to look at the enslaved people hair as the Africans' hair that's dreadful and things like that. So that's why I call my hair locks. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. I can see that. So without even doing any research, I just went along with it, and I just called my hair locks from then on. So there are many different type of dreadlocks, and basically you can have your hair is matted. So it's matted hair and it's manipulated. It can be manipulated like how mine is to look rope-like, or you can have like free-form locks where you don't manipulate it at all. You just let it do what it do. You have sister locks, micro locks. People start their hair with 2 strands. Some people do the traditional coils like I did. I did traditional coils, and like I said, people also do free-form as well. So let's get into the origins of dreadlocks. So dreadlocks have a very complicated history, and it's a little bit unclear. So the earliest written reference for locks is found in the Vedic scriptures dating back to 1500 BC. The Hindu god Shiva's hair is referred to as jata, and that's I hope I'm saying this right, but a Sanskrit, which is Indian language, the Hindu language, which means twisted locks of hair. And even when you see the picture of Shiva, I think it's a male, I believe, that person has what you would perceive as locks in their hair, right? But the first archaeological evidence are the mummies of ancient Egypt and also pre-Columbian Peru. Pre-Columbian, the Econ civilization of Peru. So these dreadlocks, the locks, were also worn by the I think this pronounced Minoan civilization, which is in ancient Greece, and also the Maasai warriors in Eastern Africa, most notably Kenya and Tanzania. So like I said, it's very unclear because so many ancient civilizations wore their hair in locks, and it could be due to, your hair is going to naturally do it eventually anyway, you know. If you don't comb your hair, don't brush your hair, and I don't think they had combs and brushes back in ancient time. I don't think so. I don't know. Y'all let me know. But your hair is going to do that. And a lot of the civilizations wore them also as a symbolic, different symbolic meanings depending on where you were from. But like I stated, the first written is Hindu, and the first evidence, physical evidence of pictures are was in ancient Egypt. So let's get into the origin of the term dreadlocks. So based on my research, the word is rooted in Jamaica. Marcus Garvey, who was a Jamaican political leader, he and also he can be credited as the founder of the Rastafari movement, and we know that began in Jamaica in the 1930s. So as we know, as a lot of us know and see, the Rastafarians wear their hair in freeform locks. Most of them do not manipulate their locks. Now, not all Rastafarians wear locks in their hair. There are some that don't have locks at all. I forget what they call them, but there is a name for them, but I forgot what it is. But in Rastafarian culture, they call their locks the natty, like natty locks in their hair. And it was in that culture, it was meant, the locks in their hair are meant to be dreaded or feared. But when they are speaking about being dreaded or feared, they're talking about it in a way of respect. Like how people say the fear of God or something like that, the fear of the Lord or something. I don't know. I forgot. Something in Christianity where they say that. You're not actually talking about, oh, I'm scared of God, I'm scared of the Lord. It's about the respect, having respect of the Lord, right? So also the Rastafarian movement dreadlocks are symbolic of the Lion of Judah, which is sometimes centered around the Ethiopian flag. Now, Rastafari and Ethiopia, and it's a combination of the Ethiopian culture and some other things within that, but I'm not going to get into that because that's not what this video is about. But their dreadlocks are inspired by Samson, who was a Nazarite in the Bible. And it was and it's also stated that their hair, wearing their hair the way they did, with freeform locks, just letting your hair just be free, it was a means of defiance for the enslaved to be rebels against Eurocentrism that was forced upon them. So just like how it was forced upon us here in North America, it was forced upon them also in the Caribbean, West Indies, South America, and all of those things. So they wore it as defiance. Okay, so also in Jamaican patois, dread is defined as a person with dreadlocks, a serious idea or thing, or a dreadful power of the holy. And like I stated before, dreadful is not a bad thing. It's the respect. Respect is a big thing regarding to why they wear and why they call their hair dread, or why they call each other dread. You know, if it's somebody that, now I don't know everything about the culture, I didn't get that deep into it, but I do know that they definitely use the term and have taken back whatever has been said. It's been, the main reason why people don't like it is because they said the former slave owners would call their hair dreadful. But the Rastafarian culture has taken that word and has used it, and they use it as a like I stated, as respect. The main reason why some people don't want their hair to be called dreads or dreadlocks is because it was thought to be disgusting and frightening, hence the term dread, which was later reclaimed by the Rasta community. So when they say dread, it is in no shape or form disrespect. If anything, they took the they took that word back and made it powerful. So when they say the dreadful power, the holy, they're not speaking I'm scared, I'm afraid, I'm fearful. When they say fearful, when they say fear, dread, it's respect, right? So here's the thing, my perspective on using the term dread or dreadlocks. After doing more research and really kind of learning about the culture of the Rastafarians, a little bit of the culture of the Rastafarians, the term, what it means, where it really derived from, and we really don't have clear evidence that it derived, that ex-slave owners stated that the hair was dreadful and that's where it come from. That's not nothing we have solid proof of, but it doesn't sound far-fetched, so it's something that I can go with it. I can go with it. Okay, so I've been having a lot of distractions today. So, where I stand on it is that I really don't care anymore. Like, now I use the words interchangeably. You may hear me say locks more often, but it just depends. And then sometimes I say dreads and sometimes I say dreadlocks. I use them interchangeably. In a nutshell, they really mean all the same thing. And the reason why I have come to that conclusion where it doesn't really bother me like I thought it did. It don't only bother me because of what people said and really what they told me where the word dread derived from. But after after doing the research, I kind of feel a little different. And I think about it in terms of, because when you say dread, call somebody hair dread, let me tell you this. When you call some people hair dreads or dreadlocks, when I tell you they get so offended, some people get so offended. You would have thought that you call their mama the B word. I mean, like, some people get really offended. I mean, they're like, ain't nothing dreadful about my hair. Like, even to the point where you have people correcting other people that ain't got nothing to do with the conversation. But here is my thing too. Many of us, including myself, still use the N-word. We still say the N-word. And I found that people become more offended by their hair being called dreads than being called the N-word. And in reality, if we really want to talk about it, the N-word has caused way more damage in our history. And as some people say, we reclaimed it. Now, granted, everybody can't use it. And it's already questionable if we even should be using it ourselves. Now, me saying that is not telling someone that, oh, well, just because you say the N-word, you should be fine with your hair being called dread. What you decide, what you want to be called is what you decide what you want to be called. However, it is a little bit hypocritical, and it's kind of like we should really be more offended by the N-word than someone calling your hair dreads, because we know that in this day and time that no one is calling your hair dreadful. Now, I'm not saying there aren't people out there that don't look at it in a negative way. There definitely is. That's why we have to have acts and laws now to even protect us to keep our jobs and stay in school for having natural hair in natural hairstyles, right? The Crown Act. So, and be sure to watch that video. I did a video on that if you want to know about the history of the Crown Act, hair discrimination, and different things like that. I'll leave the link in the description. Go watch that video. But anywho, so for me, it was just like, you know what? I know my hair is not dreadful. And truth be told, after learning more about the Rastafarians and how they use the term dread, and how they're not using it in a negative connotation, and how they took power back, you know, they reclaimed that word. They reclaimed it, and it's not a negative thing. So who am I to be around here mad because somebody called my hair dreads? I'm not about to act out anymore. Now, granted, like I said, you might hear me say locks a little bit more, but that's just because I done became accustomed and used to saying it. However, it's a lot to think about, because you have N-word and you have dreads. Like, which one really holds more weight. And I am going to compare them, and I will say, even though I do use the N-word from time to time, it definitely is very much more of a detrimental word. So, like I said, I'm just at a place where I don't care. You can call my hair dreadlocks, dreads, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. Now, for you all, how do you feel if you're someone who have dreads or even don't have dreads? What do you call them? Do you call them locks? Do you call them dreads? Do you care or not care? Let me know in the comments. Let me know how you feel about this topic. If you have more information about how the Rastafarian culture deals with their hair and dreads and things like that, put it in the comments. Let me know. But in the meantime, be sure to be beautiful, be black, be you always.